I want these guys to go eat. They've been out grazing for, I don't know, maybe an hour, not sure. I let them out, and then I went inside to have my own breakfast. Well, I just came out. I've got Prairie with me, and I've got Sarah. I just let her off the tether. I have to tether her if I'm not out here because she'll try to get out with her goats, but then when she's out, she'll take off. And so don't ask me why. If she would get out and then stay with the goats, I wouldn't mind. But she doesn't stay with the goats. Well, I just came out here because the water trough needs emptying. It's pretty disgusting in there. There's a whole bunch of like green moss kind of stuff growing in the bottom, and I'm gonna try to get as much of that as I can and then pour it in the garden bed because that's green. That will help compost and everything. So that's what I came out here to do. Well, these guys all came running over to the fence thinking I was going to let them in and feed them alfalfa or something delicious. But no, because I don't want them going into the garden, and I need the gate open so I can make lots of trips back and forth. So I wish these guys would just go eat. Now, a few of them have decided that they're going to go off and start grazing. But these few, what do I see? 6 are still hopeful. Oh well, I got to get to work. And they can just stay out there and graze. There's not a lot of food out there, but there's a lot of green. I mean, look at all this green grass that's trying to grow. I don't know how well you can see it, but all over there's little specks of green plants starting to grow. Now, we could have snow this week. They're calling for freezing rain or snow in my area. So all this greenery may not last, but it's here. So take advantage of it, goats. Go take advantage of it. And let me get back to work. I looked up and Sarah was over at the gate greeting all the goats who've all come over here. They all want in here with Sarah. Yeah, too bad. It was funny, but she moved before I could get the camera started. Well, back to work. Okay, I've got it cleaned out. I hauled it out. Well, first I took that off. Now, if you're not familiar with a float pump, you just hook the hose to it or some kind of piping, and when this is down, it lets water in, and when it comes up, it stops the water from coming in. And so when you have, a bunch of livestock in a paddock somewhere and you don't want to have to be hauling water out constantly, if you have a way to hook up a float pump, it really saves on time. Only in the winter do I really have to keep an eye on this stock tank because of the freezing. And I did have the water turned off because a few weeks ago, I guess it was, we had a few nights that were down in the low 30s. So just to be on the safe side, because, don't like pipes getting frozen, I had turned off the water. And since this needed cleaning anyway, it was pretty gunky, I decided to, before turning the water back on, just clean it out. Well, I dumped all the water in. First I scooped it up with a small pail, small bucket, and dumped it into the bigger bucket, and then I dumped it all in here, and some of it in the peas. Because it's, there's a lot of soil there was a lot of dirt and green stuff. I mean, it would be good nutritious water for my plants. And then I dumped into the small bucket when it was not enough to scoop. Hauled the whole thing out. You can see it's kind of wet on the ground here because water spilled. Well, after that, I went and turned off the water. I have a shut-off valve right here that's just for this, so I can clean it. And I can still have water there, like in the summertime when I need to be watering the garden every day, but I need to clean out their stock tank. I just shut off the water right here, and then this is the only thing affected. So I shut off this water, put on a short hose, because this hose it's like 3 hoses, and it goes all the way to the other side of the paddock for a project I was using, and I couldn't unscrew it. It was tight. So I then rinsed this out with the short green hose, dumped that water into the small bucket, and that's when I spilled a bunch because it overflowed. Dumped it on the raised garden bed, and now this is all nice and clean. And I really don't know how much this is helping, but goats need a lot of copper. So I have a little, I don't know if you can even see it over there, a copper fitting pipe that I just keep in there and hope that it puts a little bit of copper in the water, because my goats are always looking copper deficient. No matter how much organic copper I feed them, they still seem to always look deficient. And it's frustrating. So that's one thing I did in hopes of it helping. Okay. I am now going to try to turn the water on. I'm going to have a bit of a problem here because of this girl doesn't think the goats need water. Oh, and I found a bone in the water trough. And somehow I doubt the goats put the bone in the water trough. It had green algae growing all over it. So, can you keep the bones out of the water trough, please? Yeah. Somehow I don't think she's going to listen to me. Okay. I'm going to turn this on. It's going to take, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes. I mean, it'll take a while for this to fill up. It will just keep filling up like this until that red balloon is pushed up here into this thing, and then it will block the water from coming out, and it will quit until all the goats come in here and drink enough water to make the balloon fall out again. So that's all it takes. And I'm going to go off and do another chore now. I'm done cleaning the water trough out. And these guys clearly are not interested in grazing. I am going to let them back in. You want to come in now? Apparently not. The cat wants to come in. Well, what she wants is to be petted. Yeah. I think I'm going to go sit on the hay box where I store hay and pet the cat and see if these guys decide they want to get up or not. I've got this gate locked so nobody can get in and out of there right now, because Sarah knows how. Come on, Tiger. So I'm just going to wait and see if anybody decides that they want to get up and come in here. If I opened this lid, they'd all get up. But I don't want to give them alfalfa at the moment. I may have no choice. We'll see. Tiger. 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 Come on. Get up here. Okay, I'm going to pet the cat. So what do you do if you have goats that don't want to get up and come back into the paddock for whatever reason? Well, and I mean, I could have simply given them some alfalfa, except it's not even noon. And they get fed alfalfa at bedtime in the evening. And so I didn't want to do that. And I didn't really want to give them alfalfa pellets. I mean, grain always works. Some alfalfa pellets or some other grain, some kind of treat works. Well, what I did is I had some carrots that needed to be eaten up. They're past their prime. And so I didn't have a lot, but I quickly grabbed these carrots. You can see them all over the ground. And when the goats realized I was coming in here with the bucket, they all got up and came running in there. Well, I decided sorry I couldn't film the event, but I just decided to throw it all on the ground, trying to get over to the feeder and keep the dogs from escaping. And, you know, it was quickly going to be, I was realizing it was too hard. When what was the easiest thing to do was just to toss the carrots on the ground. And they all came running, and yes, some goats really love carrots, others aren't so fond of them. And so, I mean, most of them love them, but I think all those carrots will be gone in a short amount of time. Once they realize I'm not giving them anything else but those carrots, they'll be gone. So, the goats are now back in their paddock, and their water trough is nice and clean and filled up. And I've got some other chores to do. So, that's it for now. I don't know if I'll add anything else to this video or if that will be it, but if I don't add anything else, you have a nice day. And may God bless you.